Disclaimer, the comments made in this video are intended for entertainment purposes only and are not intended to offend anyone.
Welcome back, folks. Today we return to the magical world where being offended is a sport, and the gold medal goes to whoever cries the loudest. Sit back and enjoy the spectacle. First up, the woke interviewer comes in acting like he's about to educate the world on presidents, identity labels, and whatever buzzwords he memorized that morning.
Do you think that the country will see the first gay president or the first woman president?
We already have it with Obama, so let's just calm down. You know Michelle is
I'm sorry, she's a what?
a transgender. We all know.
Oh my gosh.
But this older lady steamrolls him without breaking a sweat. She tells him to relax, then hits him with a reality check so sharp he practically forgets his own question. He tries to clarify and she doubles down, leaving him blinking like he just rebooted mid-sentence. Next, take a look at this one. The street interview kicks in, and the woke anti-gun duo tries to sound deep until one of them accidentally bulldozes her own argument.
What can I use against a racist or someone that wants to come and break into my home and murder me?
A knife.
If they have a gun, because criminals don't follow laws, that's not how it works. Drugs are illegal.
Okay, and people still do drugs, so why,
That's a good point. You just literally dissolved your own argument.
Barely has to say a word. The girl walks herself straight into a perfect self-cancellation, and the realization hits harder than anything she claimed to oppose. Now, Walsh is sitting there, calm as a monk, while this woke debater tries to build an argument with nothing but buzzwords and panic blinks.
I don't think I claimed that every child would benefit from that.
Well, no, I didn't say you did.
You
said puberty blockers.
You did.
You said puberty blockers are life-saving. What evidence do you have for that?
They can be.
So
the
how do you
evidence
know?
is the encounters with patients who have had these procedures done, and it has saved their, I don't want to say it saved their lives, but it has made their lives better. I can't confirm whether or not they're alive right this second, but there are children that it has helped. So what do you have to say for the happy trans community who has benefited from these procedures? That's my question.
I guess what I have
for
to
you.
say is that your entire question is built on a whole stack of false premises that you can't begin to even remotely defend. So it's a faulty question from the start. I reject your premise. I absolutely reject that there are any kids who need to be chemically castrated in order to be happy.
Okay, let's...
I reject that.
She starts confident, then trips over her own sentences so hard she practically apologizes to herself mid-argument. By the time Walsh answers, the whole room can see it. She set up her own trap, walked straight into it, and the audience finished the cancellation for her. Here's a wild one showing a guest getting absolutely cornered by Jesse Lee Peterson on what counts as thinking like a woman.
Do you like being a man?
Yes.
You do like being a man, but thinking like a woman.
I don't think I think like a woman. I think like a man.
No, you don't. I'm here to tell you, you don't.
I think what you're trying to say is I appear to be thinking in feminine ways.
No, you think like a woman.
I don't think so.
I want to be real clear.
Okay.
You think like a woman. Give me another example of this.
Donald Trump feeling cavalier about talking about grabbing women inappropriately.
But he did it as locker room talk, and that most men have done that. You
and
never had that conversation?
Oh, yes. Let me start off by saying...
You have had that same conversation, right?
I haven't had that conversation.
But you have talked about what you would like to do to women in the privacy of men, when it's just you and other men around. In your lifetime, you have talked about what you like to do to women, right?
If I understand what you're talking about, yes.
You have had it. And so does that make you a...
Of course.
Jesse calmly lays out the trap, asking if the guest thinks like a woman while dissecting his words. The guest tries to wiggle and intellectualize, but Jesse keeps it tight, methodically pointing out every slip. By the end, the guest is nodding yes to being without even realizing how completely he just walked into the logic. Here's another one showing an academic getting absolutely flustered while trying to lecture Jesse Lee Peterson.
Just because somebody has a black friend, a black child, a black spouse, none of that means that they're, inherently not going to engage in racism.
And so if a black man or woman had a white husband, white wife, white children, blah, 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 would that black person still be a racist?
No, because I don't believe that black people can be racist.
What's wrong with you?
So let me explain that.
What's wrong with you? Tell me what's wrong with you.
There's nothing wrong with me, but I think there's a distinction between racial prejudice and racism.
You
right?
have
So I
a
believe
degree, don't you?
I have several degrees.
You have proven my
let me
point.
finish
I've interviewed tons of educated people, and I noticed that all educated people with degrees have no common sense.
I know that the undercurrent of your statement is that you're implying that somehow I don't have common sense, which I disagree with. However,
but where is it?
Jesse calmly dismantles the guest's educated argument on racism, repeatedly asking simple, blunt questions that expose the contradictions. She tries to intellectualize and parse her words, but by the end, Jesse lands the line about degrees versus common sense, leaving her looking confused and completely roasted by her own overthinking. Here's a good one, showing a woke student trying to cancel Charlie Kirk over an ICE hat.
You mentioned that you don't try to provoke misery upon anyone, but you're wearing an ICE hat.
Let's talk about ICE. Let's talk. Sure.
Yeah.
What about ICE don't you like?
A violent organization.
Not
right?
violent.
Yes, they're violent.
I'll tell you why I like ICE. They're the #1 agency that goes after child. #1. They arrest tens of thousands of child every single year. They also go after MS-13. They also go after terrorists that are here in the country domestically. ICE was formed after 9/11 to go after international threats that are here domestically. They get such a bad rap, and you actually meet with the agents, and you see what they do every single day. It's pretty extraordinary work. Now, they do go after people that have visa overstays. It has nothing to do with race. An illegal immigrant is not a race. If you are here illegally, you should not be here despite your race. The immigration debate is demagogued by politicians by being a racial issue. It has nothing to do with race and everything to do with the rule of law.
Charlie calmly fires back, breaking down ICE's role in fighting child traffickers, gangs, and domestic terrorists. The student looks confident at first, but slowly melts under facts, awkwardly smiling and shifting weight as Charlie proves that legality and safety matter more than performative outrage. And here, liberals say borders are man-made, but land was stolen, because consistency is optional.
So, you don't believe in borders?
Honestly, borders are man-made. Yep.
Wait, hold on. If borders are man-made, then what land was stolen?
The land of the Tonga people of Los Angeles.
But hold on.
Okay.
Is it stolen land? Or is it not?
Okay, so
if there's no borders, what are the borders?
Because you put it up. Borders are man-made, and you stole it.
Wait, but hold on. You're saying what are the Native American borders of their land? But hold on, there are no borders. Your argument defeats itself.
Some arguments are so tangled they deserve their own zip code. Borders are man-made, but land was stolen. Okay, then who actually owns what? The conservative man tries to follow, but it's like trying to read a map drawn by someone who refuses to use a ruler. Coming up, a liberal claims Trump built a ballroom and cut food stamps, gets fact-checked, and immediately cries.
What do you think? Honestly, Z.
Z?
It's Z.
Okay, why would you say that?
Honestly, he's just... I don't know how to put it into words, but he's just so special with everything he's been doing, with holding stamps, building the ballroom when people are hungry. It's just... It's crazy.
So when he's building the ballroom, when people are going hungry, how do you kind of relate the two to be together?
I mean, withholding SNAP benefits because the,
Just kind of like, a moment of reflection. Before you go and you say this stuff, and with certainty, and you tell someone that Trump is doing X, Y, and Z, you might not get the full, you might not have the full picture.
Me very off guard, and so I didn't know what to say.
Okay.
So,
do you want to redo any of what you said?
Not much, because I've only heard from what other people are saying, and I don't...
Are you okay?
You caught me really off guard.
It's okay, you don't have to cry. It's okay, it's just a question.
I'm gonna go back over again.
Okay, alright. Well, I didn't mean to make her cry. It was just...
It's okay, I don't like cameras, and I didn't realize you were recording me.
Oh, so this is so big, I don't know how you missed it.
Here's a classic case of outrage without preparation. She comes in with a narrative, gets politely asked to explain her logic, and collapses emotionally. It's like watching someone try to play chess mid-blizzard. They forgot the rules, forgot the strategy, and forgot they even own a board. Now this one, someone asks why Trump pardoned rappers, and Damon Imani drops a history nuke.
Why does Trump like to pardon rappers? What is that about?
I think he likes celebrities. I think
NBA YoungBoy, Lil Wayne and
He-
Kodak Black and now this. What
I
is
think
that?
he sees people who have fame and followings as people that if he pardons them,
People
they're
with
going to go
power.
out and spread
Yeah.
his message. The
Excuse
Chrisleys.
me, did you notice what you just did? This show looks at every single action taken by Trump through a race filter, because obviously Trump is a racist, right? Yet weirdly, when you talk about the pardons, you didn't say black rappers. You just said rappers and celebrities with followings. And I would add to that Trump's criminal reform in his first term freed around 3,000 federal prisoners, 91% of whom were black. So my question is, how do you manage to call Trump a racist 24/7 on this show when your only proof is your mind reading of Trump? Yet when the reality, not you reading Trump's mind, but when the objective reality shows that Trump is the most pro-black president, you hide it from your viewers.
Some conversations start off casual and end up in history class. Liberal ladies speculate about celebrity pardons, and Damon Imani swoops in with statistics that dismantle the entire argument. It's peak reality check energy, when numbers show more nuance than your entire worldview. Here's a good one. A college atheist sets the bar for belief at impossible heights, demanding Jesus' medical records like she's ordering a pizza.
I don't know if this atheist college student was expecting the truth to hit this hard.
Why should I believe that Jesus was resurrected?
Because the historical evidence is that
Okay,
he really
you tell me
died
medical,
and he
you
really
give me
rose
some
from the
medical
dead.
records and I'll believe it, okay? You show me Jesus Christ's medical chart, I'll be a Christian today.
You can keep medical records in the first century.
Oh, that's so convenient, isn't that? That's wonderful.
No, rather, it's real convenient for you to say, knowing full well they didn't keep medical records in the first century. All right, if you give me the medical records, then I'll believe. Talk about convenient. Give me a break. Unless we have it on Polaroid, I can't believe it, knowing full well they didn't have Polaroid film in the first century. Historical knowledge is not based on medical records, ma'am. It's based on the trustworthiness of eyewitness testimony. Eyewitnesses saw him risen from the dead, and they wrote what they saw.
The guy calmly drops a reality check, pointing out they didn't exactly have Polaroids or charts back then. Every sarcastic how convenient she throws out boomerangs right back on her, because nothing makes woke arrogance collapse faster than logic and history. Next up, a marketing student decides to call American Eagle, convinced their jeans ad is secretly promoting white supremacy.
Sydney Sweeney has great jeans.
Let the real you shine. Para continuar en español, por favor presione el 1. Pour continuer en français, appuyez
The balls
sur
to have this in so many languages.
Hi, thanks for calling American Eagle. This is Jess. How can I help today?
Hi, first I just want to let you know I record all calls that record me, so I am also recording. I am a marketing student and was wondering if I could speak to someone who could maybe give me some insight as to what estimated return on investment there has to be willing to use white supremacy and eugenics as your marketing campaign.
On a marketing campaign?
Yes, I recently saw American Eagle's eugenics marketing campaign where they used that white blonde girl and talked about how good her genes were in a time where racism is rampant in the US and we're imprisoning non-white people in camps. So I'm wondering like how much return on investment American Eagle thinks they're going to get that made them willing to sell out our country to white supremacists.
I see. Thank you for taking time to share your feedback.
This is so funny to me on so many levels. I mean, not only is this woman clueless, I mean, there's nothing in that commercial that embraces white supremacy, nothing about eugenics. It's a play on words. I already talked about this, between jeans, and they're just trying to show off a hot girl and make people want to buy their jeans. Maybe it backfired, but a lot of these people are reading way too much into it and acting as if this company that literally just last month in June put out, or I guess 2 months ago now, put out all these ultra progressive pride commercials is some like fascist collaborator. It's just mostly a figment of their imagination. And I just find it so hilarious how this person called a customer service helpline for like returns or purchases or whatever, and it's like, I'm a marketing student and I like would like to speak to your marketing people and demand to know how much return on investment they need for being literal Nazis. Like, that's not a thing. You don't just call up companies and get to speak to their directors of marketing and like give them your opinion as a marketing student. The audacity and the entitlement. Oh my gosh, this poor Indian woman or Pakistani woman or whatever she is having to deal with this I'm sure she's not getting paid enough to be a therapist for deranged woke women as they lash out and record themselves having meltdowns on random customer service representatives for TikTok clout. That's what's so funny to me. It's so performative.
She rattles off a monologue about eugenics and concentration camps like she's uncovering a global conspiracy. The customer service rep stays calm. The guy watching loses it laughing, and the absurdity lands hard. Nothing exposes woke overthinking faster than calling a retail line with accusations that don't even exist. This time, we got a protester confidently claiming to listen to science before getting blindsided.
What facts are you marching for?
I would be in favor of listening to science, not suppressing it.
Like there's only two genders?
You're wrong if you think there's only two.
Owen Schroyer calmly flips the science argument back on the protester, asking about the obvious biological fact of two genders. The protester freezes, flustered, stumbling over a defensive reply, capturing pure chaos and that classic woke logic versus reality moment. Next up, Adam Conover is trying to defend giving hormones to kids, while Joe Rogan calls out the logic.
Why do you have to give them hormones to make them more of a girl?
Because... I'm sorry, can you expand on the question?
It's a simple question. If you say that the child thinks it's a girl, so you're going to give the child hormones.
Mm-hmm.
If the child thinks it's a girl, let it be a girl. Like, you don't have, why are you adding hormones? If you're shooting hormones into a child and you're affecting the child's development, you're saying that's not a choice. That's nonsense. Of course it's a choice. You're choosing to chemically change this child's body. You're choosing to inject things into this child's body on a regular basis that are going to radically affect the physical development of their body.
Yeah.
And you're saying that this isn't a choice. Well, it's definitely a choice to do that.
I have a friend who has a trans kid. Don't know the kid's exact age, but we're in the age range that we're talking about. And he's explained that my child from a very young age consistently said, I am a girl, and has never contradicted themselves.
Rogan methodically lays out the simple reality. If a child thinks it's a girl, chemically altering their body is still a choice. Adam stumbles, nervously citing anecdotes and hand-waving details while Rogan stares, unbothered, exposing how convoluted and overcomplicated the woke argument really is. Here's a good one, exposing woke logic getting shredded in real time. Senator Mullen patiently lays out the cold, hard reality.
The plastics industry must be stopped.
What's going to replace your glasses? They're made of plastic.
Maybe.
No,
I don't know what they're made out of.
They are. And I'm just pointing out some things here because I just want to be realistic when we're having conversations, because when statements are made like this, I just want to open people's eyes and say, well, okay, that's easy to say, but what's the solution? Your water bottle in front of you.
This one.
Yes, that's plastic.
Right. So
Right.
I would say to your
cell phone-
question that I would first be concerned about single-use plastics, and then we can talk about alternatives to this.
Your cell phone there, is it plastic?
The cases.
The water that you filled that water bottle up with, where'd you fill that water bottle up?
A water filling station.
The piping coming to it. Now, you have a couple of choices with the piping. We could go back to using wood, but then you have to line it in chemical. Or we could go back and use lead, because we used to have water piping that was lead. That was harmful to us. We go back to copper. Copper has to be mined, and everybody wants to stop mining in the U.S. So you use plastic.
Her attempts to argue single-use alternatives crumble as he methodically shows how modern infrastructure and everyday life depend on it. By the end, her smug confidence is replaced with awkward silence as the logic sinks in. Next, here's a woke logic hitting a wall as a female host tries to deflect a tough question by attacking the guest.
I love gay people and black people and Asian people and Native American people. And this
Indian
is no
people.
particular order.
No, I rank. I love
Okay.
black people more than anybody else.
What's second? That's tougher to say, isn't it? That's tougher to say, isn't it?
You know what? Your mouth kind of reminds me of a person from Whoville.
That's
because
fine.
lip is not there.
Well, I
But,
can't help that.
No, you can't. But it's just like
Body
Whoville-esque.
shaming's fine until it's all about the weight, right? Goodness, here come the comments.
Calm and collected, he flips it back on her, pointing out the double standard in body shaming. Her smug little insult evaporates instantly as he sits back with a smirk, leaving her logic in pieces. Now, watch this as Jordan Peterson completely shuts down the modern woke history narrative.
Same opportunities, always.
No, I'm basically saying that all along, hardly anyone had any opportunities. I mean, if you look at the history of the world, things really started to shift in about 1895, but Before 1895, the typical person in the West lived on less than $1 a day in today's money, which is about 2/3 the UN cutoff for abject poverty by today's standards. And so what happened through most of the history of the world is that men and women struggled mightily together, sometimes at each other's throats, but mostly cooperatively, to keep the wolf from the door and the tyrant at bay. Life was very, 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 very difficult. And the fact that we survived it all meant that fundamentally we cooperated despite the fact that we're rife with stupidity, ignorance, and malevolence.
Peterson calmly explains that everyone lived in extreme poverty before 1895, showing that men and women struggled together just to survive, leaving the host and Annie Loof blinking in stunned silence. Then, a woman claims Trump deported 3.1 million people and learns it was actually Obama. Plot twist of the century.
Trump has deported 3.1 million illegal immigrants. What is your take on that?
I think that the world deserves answers, and I think that it's deplorable that the U.S. president is doing that to his own citizens currently.
So what if I told you that actually President Obama deported 3.1 million illegal immigrants and Trump only deported 400,000 so far?
I think that it's a different situation because you're not deporting parents of small children and leaving the children in this country. You're not sending them to concentration camps and alligator Alcatraz and all of that. It's a totally different, inhumane situation.
So Obama did send people to ICE facilities. He used ICE to arrest people and deport them. They were ICE deportations. I mean, it was more or less the same exact process when he did it to 3 million people.
Yes, but it was just a different situation, and it's not being publicized in the same way and made to make people look like criminals and look inhumane.
Where did you learn that the Trump administration was mistreating people? How do you know that?
Because of every single news source that's out there.
What kind of news do you watch? Like what's your go-to news source?
I watch a lot of NPR, NBC, ABC News, things like that.
Do you ever watch Fox?
I do not watch Fox.
Okay.
No.
You got to tune in for both sides, I think. At least see what the other side's saying.
Here's a masterclass in selective outrage. She condemns Trump for deportations, only to learn it was Obama who actually set the numbers. Her defense, different situation. Meanwhile, her news sources get a polite side-eye. It's amazing how facts can be politely ignored in favor of pre-cooked narratives. Coming next, a man insists illegal immigrants are the only fruit pickers, and the MAGA reporter explains Visas 101.
Have anyone to pick fruit. Do you understand? Do you understand the jobs that they do?
But that's not a valid argument, and I'm going to disagree with you because we have the H-2A visa, which we can get people here for agriculture. It costs you allow me to finish. I allowed you to finish. Let me finish. We have the H-2A visa, which allows people to come here in this country on an agricultural visa. It costs the rancher or the farmer $100, and it costs the immigrant $10. So the argument that we need illegal immigrants to come in this country to pick our crops is absolute rubbish, because we can get those people to come here legally through the H-2A visa, which costs almost nothing.
So the onus in that case is on the farmers, right? But here in that you just moved the goalposts.
I didn't.
You did.
You brought it up. I just made the counter argument.
But you moved the premise.
Which is?
The premise is that the main rhetoric and the main argument is that undocumented people are taking away jobs. And
I never made that claim.
No, that's what I said. I established a premise, and then you changed the premise.
I didn't change the premise. You said that we need illegal immigrants to pick our crops, and I made the argument that we can have people here legally to pick our crops.
That is a strong.
The liberal man frets over disappearing crops, only to get a simple H-2 visa explanation. Watching someone get fact-checked on immigration logistics in real time is both satisfying and hilarious, like handing someone a ladder while they keep trying to climb a wall. Here comes a wild street debate that's about to implode in real time. A man gets asked if he believes in white supremacy and confidently says yes.
Yeah, let's watch this because it's so funny.
So do you believe in white supremacy? Yes. Then how did Obama become president?
Wait for it.
Because he was selected. By who?
Here it comes.
White people.
Then the interviewer casually drops the Obama question. The answer that follows is so logically messy, it's almost performance art. Everyone watching loses it because nothing cancels woke assumptions faster than reality checking your conspiracy theory on live camera. This time, we've got a trans speaker trying to clap back at a troll, but ending up confirming exactly what they're denying.
All those testosterone injections and still just a little chump.
Now, if you truly believe that I have a sweet girl voice, it just goes to prove that us as trans individuals here, we're not the delusional ones. Take a good long look in the mirror, bud. Also, if I didn't tell you that I'm trans, how would you know? Look at me. You would have no clue. You wouldn't. It's simple. It's just in your head. So, I have 30 more seconds, so I can make money off of this. So, enjoy yourself.
Make sure to leave a like on this video and subscribe or follow down below for more daily news.
A guy calls out the squeaky girl voice, and instead of facing that reality, the speaker spirals into a lecture about perception and delusion. But talking in circles doesn't change what everyone hears. The more he explains, the clearer it gets. The issue isn't the commenter, it's the denial. Woke logic in a nutshell. When reality doesn't match the script, just argue with reality. Up next is a classic case of woke assumptions running straight into reality.
Beautiful trans woman out here. Tell us about your transition, how it went.
Can I hold this, please?
No.
So I have a question for you. Why are you asking me those questions?
Like we're interviewing like trans women and stuff like that.
I'm not a trans woman. I'm a...
Oh, no, we're fully supportive. Do you want to talk about sort of transitioning or anything like that? Or like what people can...
I never transitioned because I was born a woman.
No, of course you're a woman, of course.
Does it make a trans woman any less of a woman?
No, you are 100% a woman.
I'm not a trans woman.
Is there another definition that people like to use, or...
You thought I was a man?
She takes the mic, and suddenly all that performative woke sensitivity collapses under one simple truth. Seeing someone pat themselves on the back for inclusivity only to get schooled instantly is peak entertainment. It's like watching a logic meltdown in real time.
Like, I'm glad the guy's dead, actually. So.
You're glad he's dead?
Yeah, I'm glad.
White men are literally the single greatest threat to humans being fed, housed, clothed, having their basic needs. White men are the greatest threat to that. That's what I know. Everything else, you want me to give you all these statistics and things? Like, I'm not a data analyst. I only know the experiences of the people I censor on.
What do you think we should do about white men?
That's a question for you. Can you do something about your people?
Well, I don't see any problems.
Because you're a white man!
Well, you're also unable to name me an example, right?
The example is you having the privilege to even be out here while there are people sleeping literally next to you, homeless on the ground.
Well, don't you have that same privilege?
No, it's not about the privilege that you're talking about. A privilege as a white man to be able to move about the world and ask people to give you examples about blackness. And I'm saying the example is that you out here recording and these people are out here sleeping. And none of them look like you.
Well, there are homeless people who are white.
Ah yes, the classic blame every white man logic. Because apparently global hunger and housing crises hinge on one guy's skin color. Sometimes outrage just needs a fact check, or at least a nap. Moving on, a protester says rapists crossing the border is fine, until Lacken Riley's name turns her Wi-Fi off.
Actually, if we could process the backlog of rape kits, then we might actually get some of them convicted.
Okay, all right. Until then, we should just probably let them come across.
Honestly, I'd be fine with that.
You're fine with rapists coming over that are illegal immigrants. You're okay with that?
Well, if I knew any rapists who are illegal immigrants, that would be fine. But unfortunately, one of our local church pastors is. So.
Okay. All right. I'm not okay with even one rapist who is an illegal immigrant. If even one rapist or murderer could be stopped coming across the border illegally by that border wall, sorry, butterflies, but your time is over, and we're gonna stop from being raped. But if you're okay with that.
Honestly, I would personally prefer that women and children stop being abused by the church and their family members.
Yeah, and illegal immigrants.
Sure. Okay. If we could actually prove that that's what they were doing.
Yeah, we can.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Do you know who Lacken Riley was?
That's one case.
Okay. There's thousands like that. Yeah. It could have been prevented had they not been allowed to come across the border, caught, and then released back into our country. The Biden administration has a lot of blood on their hands for what they did with the biggest immigration border crisis in American history.
Some people specialize in mental gymnastics so impressive they can twist centuries of abuse into a defense for illegal immigration. The MAGA woman just brought receipts, and suddenly the logic vault collapsed. Up next, Nancy Mace explains basic law to a guy who thinks Twitter threads count as legal training.
Donald Trump has been found liable for rape by a jury. Donald Trump has been found liable for defaming the victim of that rape by a jury. It's been affirmed by a judge.
It was not a criminal court case, number one. Number two, I live with shame.
And you're asking me a question about my political choices, trying to shame me as a rape victim, and I find it disgusting. And quite frankly, E. Jean Carroll's comments when she did get the judgment, joking about what she was going to buy, it makes it harder for women to come forward when they make a mockery out of rape, when they joke about it.
Doesn't it make it harder for women to come forward when they...
It makes it harder when other women joke about it, and she's joked about it. I find it offensive. And I also find it offensive that you're trying to shame me with this question.
I'm not trying to shame you.
Are.
Well, in fact,
I have dealt with this for 30 years. You know how hard it was to tell my story 5 years ago when they were doing a fetal heartbeat bill and there were no exceptions for rape, incest, or rape or incest in there? I had to tell my story because no other woman was coming forward. No rape victims were represented. And you're trying to shame me this morning.
I'm just asking.
And I find it offensive, and this is why women won't come forward.
Nancy Mace deserves a medal for this one. The man struts in thinking he's delivering a legal mic drop, and she calmly dismantles his argument with facts, context, and precision. Watching her shut down his bluster is like watching a masterclass in polite but devastating reality checks. Finally, someone tries to roast Larry Elder, and Larry responds with 2 minutes of pure verbal destruction.
In Charlotte, North Carolina. Jimmy, how are you?
Yeah, Larry, I'm doing well. Hey, when they go around at the cabinet meetings with Trump and kind of drool over him North Korean style, are you kind of embarrassed by that?
Is that your question? Were you embarrassed to watch Joe Biden drool for 4 years? Were you embarrassed to watch Joe Biden stumble going up and down the stairs? Were you embarrassed to watch Joe Biden trip on the stage? Were you embarrassed to watch Joe Biden avoid taking a cognitive test? Are you embarrassed that Trump took it and passed it with flying colors? Are you embarrassed the way Joe Biden pulled out of Afghanistan, leaving behind $7 billion of equipment? Leaving behind hundreds of Americans, thousands of Afghans, 13 service members killed at Abbey Gate, several more injured, thousands of Afghans killed? Very likely encourage Putin to invade Ukraine. Very likely encourage Hamas to slaughter Israelis on October 7. Are you embarrassed that Joe Biden said nobody told him that the Taliban would come back and that the Afghan government would dissolve, even though generals testified under oath that that was exactly the advice that he was given? Are you embarrassed that former Treasury Secretary Lawrence Summers, Democrat, served under Bill Clinton, told Joe Biden that all the spending would be inflationary? He did it anyway. Are you embarrassed we had 9% inflation? Are you embarrassed that gas prices under Joe Biden were 50% higher than under Donald Trump when he came into office? Are you embarrassed that all of these Democrats and much of the media covered up for Biden's cognitive decline? Are you embarrassed that Mike Johnson, the speaker, said that he'd had a private conversation with Joe Biden finally after all the aides were dismissed? He said, "Mr. President, please explain to me why you signed an executive order banning the export of LNG, liquefied natural gas." And Biden said, "I didn't do that." He said, "Mr. President, yes, you did." "No, I didn't." He goes, oh, I know what I did. I signed an executive order to study this. He said, "No, you didn't." Does that embarrass you? None of this stuff embarrasses you. Are you embarrassed that for 4 years we were told you needed comprehensive immigration reform in order to close the southern border? Are you embarrassed that Donald Trump succeeded in closing the border in 30 days without any new legislation? Are you embarrassed by any of this? Are you embarrassed by all the waste, the fraud, and the abuse that Trump and Doge are finding? Does any of this stuff embarrass you? I'm serious.
The man tries to shame Larry over Trump admiration, but Larry turns the tables masterfully. With 2 minutes of rapid-fire questions about Biden's stumbles and missteps, he exposes the double standard. It's like seeing a high-stakes game where one side's strategy gets completely outplayed. Next, here we have a self-proclaimed goddess announcing to the world just how unbelievably hot they think they are.
So one of the biggest surprises that's come out of my transition to this point is just how hot I consider myself to be now. Like, I've talked about this before, but I'm gonna say it again. I am hot. And this is something that I never, in a million years, ever thought that I would genuinely feel about myself before I started my medical transition. Like, when I look in a mirror, I see a woman, and not just any woman, a gorgeous woman. And what shocks me so much is that I mean it. I'm not just telling myself that I'm hot. I actually think I'm hot.
The confidence is loud, but the logic is whispering for help. Every sentence gets more dramatic, like they're auditioning for a role only they believe exists. Meanwhile, reality isn't clapping, it's confused, because calling yourself stunning on repeat doesn't magically turn delusion into truth. Take a look at this one. We've got a full-face painted activist preaching open borders like it's a fairy tale. All confidence until the interviewer hits them with a basic fact.
Here, let's watch this because it's so funny.
I think that immigration is a human right and that we should get rid of all borders.
What about lawful immigration?
I think that that's awesome.
But that's what Donald Trump wants.
I'm not sure. The last time I checked was that he wanted to deport 11
illegal immigrants.
And
The moment he mentions Trump supporting the very thing they praised, their brain freezes like an old laptop. Suddenly the passion disappears and confusion takes the wheel. Nothing cancels woke fantasies faster than their own contradictions. Up next is a comedy showdown that accidentally doubles as a woke meltdown.
I've been in a couple bands. I play drums.
Really? You play drums? Whoa. Well, I mean, it's been a while since we've done this, but you guys think we should have a Mexican drum off here tonight? All right, well, Josh, you're about to have the time of your life.
Tony, I don't think art should be a competition. I just want an opportunity to jam with the band. Can we change it up a little
Jesus Christ. God. Way to ruin your whole Take your New York liberal bullshit back with you. I don't think art should be a competition. Jesus Christ. Virtue signaling on this show. How dare you, sir? Or ma'am, or whatever the you are.
A drummer casually mentions he plays in a few bands, and suddenly the host unleashes a verbal hurricane mocking every ounce of virtue signaling he can detect. Every overly polite "art should not be a competition" line gets roasted to smithereen. Here's a moment that proves sometimes all the posturing in the world can't save woke logic.
Holy shit, he's really good.
Mr. Little, may I ask why this bill doesn't extend to private schools that receive voucher money?
Because they're not immune from suit. In fact, I've sued some of them.
Okay, thanks.
She comes in with all the serious questioning and moral authority, expecting to trap him with her line of reasoning. Instead, he calmly drops a truth bomb that leaves her speechless. The way she collapses under her own assumptions is pure comedy gold, and the reactions say it all. Now check this out, we've got a moment where being woke meets a reality check.
He said what?
So why should Trump be impeached?
Because he's lied 1,000 times on record.
What does he lie about?
Let's look this up.
You're out here protesting, you shouldn't have to look it up. You know, you should already know your cause, don't you think?
You're probably, right?
If you have to look it up, it must not be that important to you, you know?
This sounds like a leading question.
I mean, that's a special kind of stupid.
He comes in with all that righteous confidence, ready to lecture the world about impeachment, and suddenly the facts become inconvenient. When asked for specifics, silence fills the air and the moral authority evaporates. The moment he crumbles while trying to perform woke outrage is just pure, unfiltered comedy. Up next is a moment that perfectly sums up woke overconfidence meeting reality.
See that video? I mean, it's
One of our priorities, we will discourage illegal migration.
To that, I say Donald Trump.
Did you expect that to be said by any of our current administration, Joe Biden, Kamala Harris?
No.
Why do you think they wouldn't say something like that?
Because they have a brain.
What if I told you these are quotes from Kamala Harris from yesterday?
What? No comment.
Maybe you don't have a brain.
She comes in thinking she's got it all figured out, ready to roast the brainless politicians, and then realizes the interviewer just quoted Kamala Harris word for word. The way that smug confidence collapses feels like a house of cards falling in slow motion, and honestly, it never gets old. Next up, we've got people who love to talk about helping others until it actually costs them a single dollar.
Would you support free college for undocumented people in this country?
Immigrants deserve education as a human right.
This country has more than enough money. I'm glad you said that because something we're doing today is we are trying to raise money. So would you be willing to give some money for that tuition?
I definitely would, but your girl is broke. I don't have cash on me.
Do you guys have Venmo?
I haven't eaten in 2 days because I have no money.
In fact,
it shouldn't be my duty to raise the money.
The interviewer casually asked if they support free college for illegal immigrants, and immediately the tough question hits. Would you actually donate your own money? Cue the awkward stares, nervous laughter, and excuses that crumble faster than a cheap paper cup. Coming up is a classic case of woke people tripping over their own story.
How many biological males are housed in female prisons under BOP?
Senator, I don't have those numbers in front of me today.
Why don't you? Did you know you were going to be asked that today?
No, Senator.
Oh, you didn't. Have you been asked that before?
On the record, Senator?
Yes.
I don't recall.
You were asked a year ago in writing, and you failed to answer it in writing. You knew you were going to be asked it today, but you don't want to answer it. Senator Lee asked, why don't you report the numbers? You don't report the numbers because you don't want people to know the numbers. So the fact that you sit there and say, I don't know, he said 1,300. Is that number in the ballpark?
No, that would be a much larger number.
Which is a larger number?
So the number of individuals who even identify as transgender at the Federal Bureau of Prisons is around 1,700. And the number of individuals that are housed in institutions not conforming with their biological are very low.
Are we talking 100? Are we talking 10?
I think we will look at the numbers. We're talking less than 10.
The director tries the old "I don't have the numbers" line while under fire from Senator Cruz, only to slowly admit she does know the numbers less than 10. The backtracking is painfully obvious, the stammering is real, and the contradiction hits so hard it's impossible not to cringe. Finally, check this out, because you're not ready for the level of confusion about gender that's coming.
A biological man who has implants is mad that someone called him a biological man with a beard. This is a clown world.
So I got served today at the pharmacy, and I'm not saying men can't look like this, because please go off, kings, but like, I'm not doing damage to masculinity. I think y'all are when you serve me, when you call me a man, right? Like, I'm not a man. Don't consider me for the pool of men. And maybe the people who are like, oh, masculinity is in decline, well, stop thinking I'm doing anything with it. I'm not part of that equation. Count me out.
Make sure to leave a like on this video if you haven't yet. Subscribe or follow down below for more daily news.
We've got a bearded TikTok warrior furious that anyone would identify them by, well, the beard. They ramble about how they are not part of masculinity while proving the opposite with every frame. By the end, they are canceling themselves so hard that the memes barely need to help. Next clip wearing a cross is apparently Christian nationalism, but making wild accusations is totally fine.
I hear that you're probably a very, very pro-Trumper.
From how could you tell? From the
Christian nationalist stuff going on.
Why is it a Christian? Are you a Christian?
I sure am a Christian.
Why do you say it's national? I'm not a, whatever that means, I really don't know. But
Sure.
why does a cross mean Christian nationalist?
When you're using it from a news perspective, I would say that you are very much looking to have Christianity infiltrated into every aspect of.
But you say it as if that's an offensive thing, and it's not about politics. But and it truly offends me now that you're saying that it's offensive to be Christian.
Christian name in honor of a man who would rather separate women and children.
Do you believe a cross is offensive on a mic flag?
I didn't say the cross was offensive. The cross is offensive. The Bible says that it's offensive, correct?
Okay, so the cross is offensive. Is Christianity offensive?
It can be if you're going to force it down people's throats.
I'm not forcing it down your throat. You could be a Muslim. I mean, it doesn't matter to me. You're Jewish or Hindu or whatever. I'm not. Did I even mention it? You're the one who brought it up.
I am, because of the way that you're speaking. So you're not here to have.
I'm speaking by saying that we should be focusing on other things besides a ballroom derangement.
You brought up the ballroom.
Right. I'm speaking and saying that Trump is ushering some peace deals that are beneficial to all humanity, not just America. I'm saying that a lot of people think he deserves a peace prize. I'm saying and agreeing with you that SNAP benefits are at risk and that the government should reopen. It just takes 5 Democrats to do so. How is that speaking as a Christian nationalist?
I didn't say you were speaking as a Christian nationalist. I said I could understand by what it appears in the way that you're asking your questions and the way
you're just making a very, very outrageous assumption.
I'm not making an outrageous assumption. I said, is this what's happening? Is that what you're doing? Because I feel like based on.
I'm going to either walk away or wait for an apology because I don't take insults when it comes to Christianity and religion. I take that to be very offensive. If you're a Christian, you should be ashamed of yourself. And I'm just going to go now because you're very offensive, ma'am. So people like that are actually sickening.
A necklace turns into a full-blown conspiracy. Claiming a cross equals nationalism, the liberal woman refuses to budge when challenged. It's like watching a tiny teacup storm. Dramatic, absurd, and completely pointless. Proof that sometimes outrage can exist entirely separate from logic. Up ahead, a student argues for abortion during cancer, and a real doctor politely erases her entire argument.
Hey, Dr. B, I'm on a college campus getting yelled at right now. Can you answer a question for me because I'm not a doctor?
Sure.
Okay, can you ask your question about the woman who has cancer?
I am asking about if a mother is pregnant and she has cancer
at 10 weeks?
At like 9 to 10 weeks. What is the problem with the mother giving an abortion?
Is it necessary to give a woman who has cancer, who's been diagnosed with cancer at 10 weeks, an abortion to save her life?
No, not at all. What happens is that 50 to 60 years ago, we thought we had to abort babies to save the life of the mother. But across the board, from leukemias, even right now, breast cancer, you can actually treat the cancer, work with the mom and baby.
But what if the mother doesn't want to keep the baby while she's having chemo?
Now that's different.
She can change her question.
We have many chemotherapies now that do not hurt the baby at all. And we can safely...
Even if it's like uterine cancer?
So in uterine cancer, if there's a sarcoma, you actually do the surgery, treat the disease as we call it. You don't ever need to directly kill the baby to save the mother's life.
I have heard other evidence. I have heard other stories.
I can tell you I've practiced this for 30 years.
Okay.
This is how we've done it.
Campus logic at its finest. Repeated claims meet professional expertise and chaos. The doctor explains that surgery can save the uterus, but our debater refuses to drop her narrative. It's like watching someone try to fix a car with a hammer. They're convinced, but the results say otherwise. Topping up, these two guys start off handing out moral lectures like candy.
Could you ever see yourself housing a migrant in your home?
I think illegal immigration is just people trying to find freedom.
Our great-great-great-parents, like, they started somewhere, so why can't they?
This would be like for your actual home for you to take in a migrant yourself.
I can't do that. I literally live in a 2-bedroom.
Talking big about compassion and open doors, right up until the interviewer offers them a pen for their own address. The switch up is instant. All that grand virtue turns into nervous giggles and excuses, and the hypocrisy is loud. Here comes a fresh one. We jump in with Jeremy already looking like he aged 10 years just listening to woke theatrics.
These woke weirdos want to live in a world of complete delusion where everybody around them is constantly agreeing with them and affirming them. Yeah, that's not how it works.
Hi. Why did you turn your comments off? Oh, well... glad you asked. So first, I would like to say that no, it is not because I got too much hate and couldn't handle it. I promise, I am okay. But I do appreciate all of the people that sent me kind words and lovely DMs because it means more to me than y'all will ever know. And I truly love y'all, like, so much, like, for real. But I turned comments off because there's a bigger plan already in motion, baby, that only I know about. So stay tuned, baby.
Then this TikToker pops up waving at the camera like they're auditioning for a kid's show, flipping between shy whispers and full volume meltdown in the same breath. By the time they start bragging about some secret master plan, the only thing on display is how fast a woke act collapses under its own drama. This time, we've got a meltdown in full bloom. A female student storms in, chest out, pointing fingers, breathing like she's about to lift a car, demanding the campus eject Crowder for daring to have a sign.
Let you back on this campus.
It's a public sidewalk.
So nobody invited you here? Officers, if nobody invited him here, can we ask him to leave this campus? Is this being handled?
Steven, you're a hero.
You're a hero? Who the said that? Raise your hand. Raise your hand if you're so fit. Have you ever been... Then shut
I'm gonna have to interrupt. That's a good question.
That would be awesome. But like, why is he allowed on our campus if this isn't even like an organized event? No, I am not part of this event. You're not mad?
I understand.
So if I called you and said somebody to me, you wouldn't be mad?
Well, you just twisted my words and I didn't say that.
Culture exists, and you're telling me 1 in 1,000? I can tell you that's... Do you see 1,900 people standing here? I can guarantee you, multiple people right here have been, and this is not 1,900 people.
Okay, how can you guarantee that?
Every accusation she throws at the officer and the crowd bounces right off. By the time Crowder calmly asks, okay, how can you guarantee that? The whole performance collapses into pure chaos. Up next is a mask meltdown caught on the street. A protester tries to throw shade, complaining about the interviewer's smell, thinking she's dropping a savage burn.
What's wrong?
You just smell so bad.
Is that why you have the mask on?
I mean, it's definitely helping.
It's helping, right? So that might be your own breath that you're smelling.
But the interviewer flips it instantly, pointing out it's probably her own breath trapped in the mask. The protester freezes, sunglasses hiding the horror. Now check this out. A resistance warrior wearing red lipstick, claiming it's a historic protest move against Hitler.
Hello, it's the master. The reason I have red lipstick on is because I'm at the demonstration in Traverse City. There are thousands of us. And red lipstick, I was informed last night by my friend Jen, was a form of resistance when Hitler was trying to take over the world. He didn't like women wearing red lipstick. So I've decided red lipstick. Everybody put on red lipstick to show resistance against you-know-who. Be kind to yourself, be kind to others, over and out.
The man delivers it like he's about to rewrite history, passionately nodding and lecturing the camera. By the end, he's urging everyone to slap on lipstick to fight Trump. Check this one. We've got a classic case of woke outrage hitting a wall.
Whites are the most violent and oppressive people.
Well, yeah.
That's what you said in your film.
And if you're going to go back
so that would seem to me that
statistics point that out too.
Really? Well, yes. The Chinese were massacring Chinese and other races long before they'd ever met a white person. Attila the Hun wasn't white. It's the same in the subcontinent if you go back hundreds of years as well. The genocide in Rwanda was black on black. So is the Congo, which is the rape capital of the world.
When it comes to education, the whole system needs to change.
But let me look at education. Let's look at the figures on education. 33% of white kids go to university or further education. 37% of black kids go to university or further education. 67% of Indian kids go to university or further education. 76% of Chinese kids go to university or further education.
This lady confidently declares that whites are the most violent and oppressive people, and then tries to fight back with statistics. And then reality shows up with a full history lesson on Attila, the Congo, Rwanda, and global education rates. Watching all that carefully stacked logic make the woke narrative collapse is pure comedy gold. Up next, we've got a clip where woke people completely lose it over a simple statement and implode spectacularly.
Joe Biden said in 2028, he's running for president again.
I'm moving.
He says, I'm coming in the race because I have unfinished business.
I'm out of here.
How many times do you have to prove we can't be trusted?
The panic, the outrage, the instant virtue signaling, it's all happening at once. And honestly, the way they cancel themselves before anyone else even gets the chance is hilarious. Here's a good one featuring a fired up woke commentator who starts confident and ready to lecture the world.
What are some behaviors of Trump supporters that you would point to and say, yeah, that's kind of sick or mentally ill?
They're kind of stuck in this realm of like being constantly fed propaganda. They just like are in the cult, I guess. They don't understand that what they're being told is lies.
How many genders are there?
Gender is a social construct. I'm not someone that's educated enough maybe to answer that.
These people are crazy. There's something wrong with them.
The moment a simple question hits, their whole act unravels instantly. Confidence evaporates, confusion takes over, and the collapse becomes comedy gold. His excuse for his education makes the self-inflicted meltdown even funnier. Now, a woke reporter walks straight into a buzzsaw without even noticing it.
You noted he is a successful businessman. Do you know if the president has any plans to meet with any of the folks involved with any of the family businesses over there, or see any of the sites that are going to be...
Let me just get to the premise of your question. I think it's frankly ridiculous that anyone in this room would even suggest that President Trump is doing anything for his own benefit. He left a life of luxury and a life of running a very successful real estate empire for public service, not just once, but twice, putting the American public first. This is a president who has actually lost money for being president of the United States. I don't remember these same type of questions being asked of my predecessor about a career politician who was clearly profiting off of this office.
One sloppy question rolls out, and Carolini shuts it down so fast the whole setup collapses on the spot. The best part is how confidently the woke angle starts before getting flattened by someone who actually knows what they are talking about. Next, this is the clip where a full meltdown kicks off the moment the woke guy gets challenged.
You are a female.
Stop disrespecting me.
Sir, you're saying that I'm disrespecting because I disagree with your view.
So.
You're getting emotional, ma'am.
You son of a...
You're not scary. Get back.
One disagreement hits him harder than reality ever has, and he launches straight into the usual tantrum routine, while the interviewer stays calm like it is nothing new. The best part is how fast the tough act crumbles the second he hears something he cannot control. Finally, we've got a perfect example of woke logic folding in on itself faster than they can finish a sentence.
Did you just assume my gender? You said white man.
Okay, I see your point there.
How do you know I'm not a woman?
I see your point.
You need to check your white privilege, your white female privilege.
One harmless sign sends this woman scrambling, and every answer she gives only traps her deeper. The guy barely has to say anything before she starts agreeing with whatever proves her wrong. It is peak self-cancellation with zero outside effort required. That is all for today's parade of contradictions. Once again, nobody needed to cancel them because they handled it on their own. Hit that like button, share the madness, and subscribe for the next round of unintentional comedy.